Hi guys, Hotashi here, and I've got a lot of info for you if you're having difficulty fighting Axel low with Nagoriyuki. I mean, if you look at the matchup, it's pretty reasonable that Nago has some difficulty. With his size and lack of air options or general mobility, getting in can prove to be pretty frustrating. Not to mention, your approaches and damage capabilities are rationed by the blood gauge, and since it drains so slowly over time, even if you find your way in on Axel, you might have a rough time closing the round out. So you're going to have to take advantage of every potential opening Axel can give you, and close out the round once you're in. The way this is going to work is I'm going to order things from easiest to look for to the hardest. If you need more info, or if you think I got something wrong, or if you got some fresh tech, feel free to leave a comment below so we can all discuss together. And here we go. Alright, so let's get it started with Axel's special moves. Snail is Axel's combo ender on the ground, and without meter for roaming cancel, it leaves Axel critically negative on block. If you see this move and you block it on the ground, Axel's basically putting a sign on his back that says, "Hit me!" That's to punish him with Fire Slash or 2-1-4H. Now, let's talk about Rainwater, Axel's main block string ender. This move is +4 on block and it moves him a large distance backwards, so you're gonna see this from a lot of Axels, and it's no secret why. But if you use 2-1-4H wisely, you can get in on Axel here, as it goes over Rainwater's sickle on reaction. Now, Air Snail. This move is a little tricky to talk about, so it helps Axel end combos off of JS, and he can use it as a way to frame trap you from blocking JS at certain ranges. However, like Snail on the ground, it's massively negative on block, letting you close in hard or punish with 2-1-4H. And if the move whiffs, it's even worse for Axel, so look out for this in particular. Now let's talk about Axel's command grab. You want to avoid getting hit by this as much as possible. So the main ways of doing that are jumping or backdashing to evade. But the biggest issue here is that this move can very easily catch Nagoriyuki when he jumps forward, since Nagoriyuki has no air actions. You might get ooped by it here and there. So you want to look out for this because Axel shoots the sickle into the ground different than if he did Ransom. So this move also starts up faster the closer you are to the back of the screen. Now, if you happen to evade this, you can punish Axel from pretty far away since it has full counter hit. You're going to want to get real good at punishing this since it can help you turn the tides a lot. Now, let's talk about JS. It's not a special move, but it's one of the main tactics used by Axel. He can IAD backwards in JS, IAD forward, and it really pushes Nagoriyuki around. However, it has a fatal flaw, right? The chains have hurt boxes, like the chains at the end of a normal. This lets you hit it with moves like 6P or 2H, even from really far away, since those moves have anti-air properties. The JS doesn't do that much damage, but if you swat him down one time, his life might come to an end over the next couple seconds. So if Axel has a real pattern of running around doing JS, then try preempting him with 2H or anti-airing with 6P. Alright, Renson, we gotta talk about this. This is Axel's signature move, the full screen blast that goes along the ground, and this move bullies Nagoriyuki pretty hard. He gets pushed back super far, takes a ton of chip, and Axel can just do it again and again if Nagoriyuki doesn't know how to respond. So, the first thing we gotta talk about is the follow-ups. The first one is the spinning chain strike, right? This move is pretty rare, it kinda sucks. It's punishable by a jab if you're really close to him, and if you're far away, like outside of it, you can punish him by doing Fire Slash through the spinning chain. And now, more importantly, the second follow-up is the soaring chain strike, which you'll see very often. Nagoriyuki has no way to avoid Renson outside of jumping, So this almost lets Axel react to any jumps after a Rensen and pull you in for pressure, mix-up, instant overheads, tick grabs, you know, anything Axel wants. He's going to be at a big advantage. The way it works is that since you block a move in the air, you're locked into guaranteed block stun after you land. This is after blocking anything, but this move in particular gives Axel a big advantage. However, if you can avoid it, maybe by preemptively jumping Rensen or making it whiff, it has a pretty heavy recovery period. Also, try instant blocking it to cut down on the block stun. Next, we gotta talk about Winter Cherry, or aka the Cherry Bomb. This move has two versions, the fast version and the slow startup version that Axel has to input with a delay timing after a Rensen. This is a way for Axel to harass more after Rensen, since the fast bomb can catch jumps and the slow bomb keeps you on block stun for a long time, as it's very plus. To counteract this, try normal jumping forward after the fast bomb to avoid another Rensen, and normal jump forward before the slow bomb happens after blocking Rensen. Or you could just wait and see what happens, see if Axel gets frustrated. Mix it up, right? Now, I have to let you know that if you block either of the bombs and Rensen does another Rensen, Axel is guaranteed to be able to do the vertical follow-up after shooting out another Rensen with perfect timing. So you're gonna be in that situation a lot where Axel is pulling you in, right? So get used to it. Prepare to take a grab or take the pressure, but the most unlikely thing to happen is that you're going to get away with mashing or reversal super, since you're pretty negative. Just letting you know to look out for that in particular. So let's talk a little bit about Axel's super moves. Axel has Sickle Storm, which has full invincible startup, and you'll see it a lot. And it has unique properties that you want to know. The super has two parts, a flaming uppercut and a chain blast similar to Rensen. There's a gap, however, and if you want to punish it, you're going to need to jump over the second part in order to punish him. Otherwise, if you block the second hit, it's plus, so you're going to have to get back in on Axel again. Avoid blocking it whenever possible. The second super, which is more rarely seen, is called One Vision. When Axel uses One Vision, he gains access to the ability to freeze time, which is a special attack that can be cancelled into from his normals or some specials. Now, the problem for Axel with this super is that if Nagoriyuki just sits there and waits, then we can just block the time freeze attack, since he only has access to it for 5 seconds. But if Axel throws out something pretty obviously punishable, he might be looking for like a cheeky punish. So look out for that in particular in case you think the Axel player you're fighting is kind of cute, right? Alright, round starts. I know of like 3 round starts you're going to want to look for in my experience. And the most common one, or the most troublesome one, is Far Slash. This beats almost anything Nagoriyuki would typically like to do at round start, like 2S or 5K, but it gets blown up pretty badly by Nagoriyuki 6P since it's so good. This lets you confirm into 214H and then OTG with 6H. Huge start to the round. Now, then there's 2P, which also stops Nagoriyuki from doing much of anything, but is kind of negative on block, right? So it's a little scary for Axel to do. Even if you get hit by it, it's not like the end of the world, right? Now let's talk about IED backwards JS. This gets beat pretty hard by Nagoriyuki guessing on a bunch of things, specifically 214H. I find that there's usually a pattern of Axel starting out a set with Bar Slash, and then once we deal with that, they start doing other stuff like running away or doing IADJS, so look out for that. Try and punish him early. Alright, once you finally get in on an Axel, Axel has like serious problems fighting back against Nagoriyuki. Let me explain. Axel's fastest normal, 5k, is 6 frames, and his second fastest normal, 2k, is 7 frames. This has pretty massive implications, as in like, it's terrible news for Axel. The first thing is that if Axel mashes after blocking 2 and 4H, it is not possible for him to beat Nagoriyuki doing an immediate 2p. If Axel blocks far slash into the step slash, like the second hit of Nagoriyuki's quote-unquote auto combo, it is not possible for him to stop Nagoriyuki from doing a command grab if Axel pushes 5k or 2k. If Axel also attempts to do a grab, that means command grab will beat it outright, since Nagoriyuki's command grab has grab invulnerability. This means that the moment Nagoriyuki happens to be next to Axel, breathing the same air as him, Axel is in mortal danger, and he has very few options to protect himself from the pressure in melee range. This is his number one fear, and Axel's going to be looking to do anything to escape the situation at all costs. Jumping away, gold bursting, IEDing over your head, utilizing backdash, YRC, anything. However, it's all out of his favor. If Axel jumps, it's rare that he can like make you take critical damage or anything. He can only get away. If Axel backdashes, you could hit him out of a recovery quite easily. Bursts and YRC can easily be baited by a patient Nago, super as well. So when you finally get in on him, you get to play a relatively vicious but non-committal game of rock, paper, scissors with him. Vary it between close slash, 2p, or command grab. If he attempts to beat anything you do, he could take huge damage. Master the timing to beat Axel mashing 2k on command grab in these situations, and it's going to be a massive boon to your offense. Alright, so we kind of like learned the most important things of fighting Axel, and this is a part of the video where I want to give you like a general game plan, right? So let's start with the number one rule. You don't want to spend blood from full screen on anything that isn't Fukio. Your blood meter is super important. You might not like get a chance to get back into the round if you spend blood and you don't get like a chance to make Axel play defense for a little bit. It might just be over. So use blood carefully. The next thing is that you want to vary your approach between normal jump, super jump, and doing Fukio forward. Try getting crafty. You know, for example, try jumping backwards, then Fukio forward. Maybe then attempt to hit Axel if he's airborne, or just be content with closing the distance to the mid-range. After that, if you get in, watch out for gold bursts if you get in early into the game. It's like a high roll option from Axel, but he might try it. The most important thing to look out for at the mid-range, as like, you know, everything that Axel does can be blocked quite easily, even in the air. You want to look for command grab. If you deal with command grab early on and against an Axel, they might not know what to do to create advantage. So another thing is, if Axel is jumping around a lot with JS, try and hit it with 6B or swing 2H preemptively if you see a pattern. 2H might just work even if Axel is grounded. He might be doing like 5P. It could hit him out of a bunch of stuff, especially if you're on level 2 blood. It's hard for Axel to do a lot of damage if you play defensive yourself, so you might take some time to play defensively yourself and see if Axel gets frustrated or impatient. Once you get in on an Axel, you want to stay in, and he wants to get out as much as possible. So even though Nagoriyuki's offense against Axel is so effective, you can also be pretty patient. Capitalize on the expectations between you two by keeping him cornered and jailed when he's trying to get away, or rushing him down once you teach him a lesson about trying to squirrel out. The loss condition is almost guaranteed if you have 2 blood bars and you're across the screen and you're behind on the life lead. This is almost impossible to come back. And again, Axel basically can't stop you at melee range, so don't over-respect him if you get in. There's something I want to mention though. This video isn't meant to be like an, end-all, be-all guide to fighting Axel for Nagoriyuki. You're gonna need to play the matchup often so you can develop your own understanding of tactics, muscle memory, really get comfortable with it. You're free to refer to the video as a general guide, but nothing, you can't teach everything through videos, so try and explore for yourself. Finally, I want to give a shout out to Fame96, my fellow Nagoriyuki master, for looking over this video's script material, and all the humble editors over on Dustloop for all the frame data and clerical information. You know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch me on Twitch TV. I stream every weekday at 12 p.m. Come ask me questions if you want, and I'll see you on the next guide. Thank you all. See ya.